Sorry, but there's no volume.
Jamil, start singing Jana Gan Mana.
Thank you, Ruchita. A warm welcome to Mr. Anis today for being present as a speaker. Thank you very much. I will just give a quick update to my Bayview family about all the projects that we have been doing, and really happy to showcase our progress that has happened since July till September, but a quick recap only about a certain projects that have gone by. Our club has been participating in the blood donation camps. You all must have received all the messages. Please do come forward whenever there are these blood donation camps. It is wonderful to see how people are really coming forward for this noble cause. For this particular cause, Praneet Naheta, a member of ours who has been recently inducted and donated blood at CST, and Vikrant Rambia also attended the camp. Samina, Rajni, Renu, Tanvi, our Rotarians and Rotarians visit the Paraplegic Foundation at Airoli, and we have donated a laptop over there that was sponsored by a member, Neha Jain. You have to come to these places. It is a day to remember, because we also tied up with Innerwheel over there, where President Grishma, who had donated the ration kits, where Samina had donated all the ration that was required by the Institute. For a period of 6 months or more, the requirement has been fulfilled by Samina. So it was a wonderful way of Innerwheel and Rotary doing a project together. Our club sponsored an education fair with Ganpati festival celebrities at the Bal Asha Orphanage. Again, in collaboration with the Women's Council, a well-known project by this Bal Asha, where children from the orphanage are doing education during the Ganpati festivals, and they enjoy festivities with showing an educational like a small little fair that's put up by them. Our generous members have fostered the education of almost 58 children for the slum children in collaboration with Maharashtra State Women's Council, where Rupali, our member, is the chairperson. It is a well-vetted project. We were really happy to visit that place and meet these children who had come to Bapnu Ghar. We also donated over there a water filter, which was donated by our member Anish Suneja and Neeta Suneja. Aparna Shah, Vikrant Rambhya, Vimal Shah, and Jessica and Rupali attended the inauguration of the water cooler. And it was, again, wonderful because Vimal Shah, who is our community service director, he sponsored the food boxes over there, and his daughter gave the cupcakes over there for the children. Our club has also committed to empower the women, and we have sponsored 7 pink autos, thanks to IPP Smita Parekh, who brought this project up, and under the vocational, we have already funded this vocational training for 7 ladies over there. We as a club have, we had thought about understanding the plight of what the flood relief program that required to be taken care of. And we collaborated with the Sangli Club, and we have given 300 flood relief kits to the people of Sangli village and the adjoining villages. We just finished that project. Our members have constantly been doing the Annapurnas, wherein Satyan Kapadia, Jai Sheth, and Yatish Yasani and anonymous donors have supported all the Annapurnas for the month that has just gone by. And our CSC medical and non-medical and vocational associated teams have been constantly identifying and vetting projects. Bayview's name is only connected with projects where we really think that these projects are worth our while and we need to put our money. So when we do put an appeal, please do come forward. And it's very heartwarming to see our members come and participate. When we tell you that we are visiting this project, do come along. It's wonderful to see it. Also, I would like to announce today, and it's a happy announcement, that from July till now, we have completed 34 projects, and we have almost crossed 20+ lakh of rupees in donation. So I think it is super great work, Bayview. We are really doing great work. And we have actually touched 2,639 beneficiaries till date, which is fantastic work. So I think we are really going to do some great work, not only this year, but in the years that comes by, because Bayview has started stepping up. All the presidents, 19 presidents, have done fantastic work, and we are continuing to do that great work. One very small appeal to you, come and join us to see the joy of giving. Whenever we are telling you, you have to come and see the blissful smiles that you see on the faces of the for the beneficiaries that we are reaching out to. So do join us. And now, no further ado, I would now request Sahil Mehra to please introduce the speaker of the evening, Mr. Imtiaz Anis. Welcome, Sahil.
Yeah, thank you, President.
Thank you.
And superb work by Bayview. I must commend, like it's applaudable. And now today, I would like to introduce Mr. Imtiaz Anis. See, Olympics glory is still very fresh in our mind. And we are lucky to have a speaker who has represented India in equestrian sport, which is one of the rarest things to happen. Like till now, we have only 3 participants from India who have participated in the sport. And Mr. Imtiaz Anis had participated in Sydney Olympics in year 2000. And for us, horse riding is basically a game of royalty for kings or for the army. But being a civilian and reaching at this height and completing a very, a tedious would be a very small word for it, a 3-day event successfully is all applause for Mr. Imtiaz Anis. And again, he has penned down his entire experience in a book, Riding Free, and which is full of experiences, not only his accomplishments, but also the challenges or sometimes the failures that he had to face. And he has taken the book literally like a chef would read it, he would win it. I would say even a cricketer would read it, even he would win in life. So he has mentioned and everything in quite detail and how the teamwork really helped him to, dream of Olympics, being a civilian, and in which the qualification rounds are not only available in India, a difficult sport to handle. And he has also started his own training club. So we'll be hearing from him like how the things have been and what are his future goals and how does he explain his book. And also there's something interesting fact about the sport itself. This is the sport in which men and women are treated equally. All have the equal right to participate. And there's another story to it, like the horse has an emotional connect with the rider itself. And it's the training. I was listening to Mr. Imtiaz various videos also. He has clearly mentioned how, he feels what his horse feels and what his horse feels, what he feels. Probably what I saw in the Sea Biscuit movie. It could be. So without, me explaining anything further, we would like to hear it from Mr. Imtiaz Aziz himself. Welcome.
Thank you so much. That was a wonderful introduction, Sahil. I really appreciate it. Very, very kind words. So thank you. Thanks to everybody for having me on this platform. I'm always excited when I'm talking to people who are as enthusiastic as I am about anything that they do, and Rotarians have that little bit in them that they're always trying to do that little bit extra, and so that just like how Zankana mentioned, it's about being a part of something that is value adding to society. There's no personal gain. It's just about giving, and that's what life should all about. It's about giving back. Life has given us so much. And that's how I like to start today's conversation. It's going to talk. I'm going to talk for about 10 minutes. Don't bore you too much. And then we'll be open to questions. And you can ask questions as well. And my whole story, my whole life has been about people and about how many people have come into my life to make their dream my dream. And that's what's so special. I was a young boy from India, I was timid, I was weak, I was not very strong. And I had this dream of riding at the Olympic Games. Ever since I was about 4 years old, I would do crazy things. I would have this wildest of imaginations, I would be always giving victory speeches, and I would put chairs in my house and stand on podiums and make my staff giving medals because I won some, they would be all crazy. Like, what are you winning? I had no idea, but I knew that when I grow up, I'm going to represent India. To be honest, I didn't even know in which sport, because at that, you're so young. I just wanted to represent India. I would watch all sporting events. And when I was young, I was a very good runner. So I thought I'll do it in running, because of Carl Lewis at that time. And those who know, I'm quite old. So those who might remember Carl Lewis will remember, he'd won 5 medals. I thought if you can win 5, I can definitely win 1 medal, Little did I then realize I wasn't fast enough, And then when I went to school, I was a very good swimmer. So I thought I'll do it in swimming. I trained really hard. And every time I was at that starting blocks, I thought I was at the Olympic Games. And that's the power of imagination. So I love to tell kids also today, be parents to tell their kids, that they must dream. We all tell our kids what they can't do. All our lives, you always told you can't do this, you can't do this, you have to do, do your homework. There are always rules, regulations, but sometimes we just got to let them be and let them just go out of the box. It's okay. It's the journey. I was very fortunate throughout my life. I had amazing support people, but I also had parents who believed in me. For a young boy to come and tell my mom and dad, I'm going to represent India at the equestrian. Equestrian is not heard of. There's no equestrian event of that level in the country. And they never said no. They said, if that's what you want, well, go do it. Put in the hard work. So, that is really important. And I was fortunate throughout my life that I had great mentors. And I always distinguish between coaches and mentors. And I think the Rotarian is a bit like that. It's about mentoring. Any new person comes in, you all do the same thing. So it's about having these people that come into your life that actually help you, guide you, and mold you into the person that you want to be. And we need more of them in our society. We have a lot of coaches, which are different because they're on the field, tell you how fast you should run, how you should hit the ball, or how you should move your feet. That's different. We need people to look at you as a whole, in a more holistic approach. And I think that's something that as a club also, that's what you all should start, is more of a mentorship because the young really need it. And I always tell people, in order to be successful, you always need guidance. We always need people to help us. So try and form people around you that are not immediate family because they can be a little bit biased, but also it's too familiar, so you have to get away from that. Try and choose people from different professions, but people that you look up to, people that you like the way they live their lives, the way they carry themselves, the way they, how educated or how well-traveled they are. All these things are important in their life. And throughout my journey, that has been my main crux. And that's why I really wanted to write my book, which is Riding Free, to tell people that ask for help. we're so scared of asking for help. There are two things we're scared of. One is asking for help because we always wonder, what about rejection? So what? People might, I've never had anybody say no to me. But even if they say no, if you don't ask, you won't know. So ask. Any crossroad you're at, ask people, find out what the roads are, what are their options, what do they feel? And then it's up to you to decide. But it's really, really important to do that. And the second thing, which I really want to stress on, is failure. In whatever we do in our lives, it doesn't matter what it is, we are going to fail. I tell that to kids straight away. So I said, let me prepare you from now. Whatever you're going to do, you're going to fail. So be prepared for it and learn how to overcome these failures. In today's society, it's a bit different from what it was 20 years ago. In today's society, we protect our kids too much. We don't allow them to fail. We are there to catch them. We are there to correct them. No, life isn't like that. Life, they're going to find difficulties. It's not an easy place out there. They have to fight. They have to work hard. Work ethic is important. So it's important for us right now to tell our kids, take the plunge. Go and push yourself because you still have a net. You're still there. This whole group, we're already privileged. We're privileged enough to be on this conversation. We're privileged enough to be the Rotarians. We're privileged enough to have jobs. We're privileged enough to, have all live in lovely homes. Our children go to good schools. So we're already one step ahead of everybody else. So allow them to fly, because unless we do, only then they're going to find that little bit of creativeness in them. They're going to find that little bit of oomph in them. It's what makes them wake up every morning, rather than that structure of, get up in the morning, do the same thing, Monday, ye mat karo, wo mat karo, ye kharab lagega, what will people say, this is not the right thing to do. There is no right and wrong anymore. It's about what they want from their heart. And as long as it's correct from the heart, they will achieve it. People will see that. I always tell kids today, don't do things because your friend is doing it. Don't do it because that's the right thing to do. Don't do it because you're just trying to please mom and dad. You always don't be disrespectful, but at the same time, they've got to follow their passion. And the same thing I tell parents, don't let your kids do something because that's what you want. Don't make them do it because it's easy. The carpool is going, so put your kids in the carpool. It's already, the playground, the football is going on someplace, so it's easy to put your kid also because somebody else is picking them and dropping them. That may not be their thing. So it's really, really important. Also, balance in life. It's so important for all of us. And today, especially in a situation like this, which is a pandemic, we got to balance ourselves. We got to look after ourselves, because if you don't have it in you, you can't give. So it's important for people. It's okay to take a day off. It's okay to get a massage or manicure, pedicure, go and play a sport, whatever. And the same with our kids. We put so much pressure on our kids in today's day. They have to study. They have to do tuition. They should do a foreign language. They should learn they should play an instrument. By the end, the child is going to be some world genius, or actually none, because he's going to pack up, because there's so much. I'd rather him do something that really makes him wake up in the morning and feel passionate about it. I was very lucky, because ever since I was 4 years old, I only had one passion. I'm going to represent India, whatever it takes, So I was so focused ever since then that I put all my energy towards that. That's all I did. And I found out who the people are, where I can train, who's going to get me there, what are the connections I need, whatever it takes. That's what I did, because that's what I wanted. So it's important that you have to have that in you to achieve what you want to achieve. So, that's what it's all about. That's what life is all about. Even like today when I came to this talk, I was so excited, because, you've got to have that energy in you to say, I can do this, and I want to tell more people about it. And that's the reason I wrote the book. The book is, yes, it's my journey. It's a little bit horsey because it's about horses and about equestrian, but it's about the stories of how you get out of the comfort zone, how many failures happen in life. And every time there's a wall, it's only finding out, how do I climb it? That's what you have to think about. Not climbing it or thinking, now the wall has come, I can't do it. And it's surrounding yourself all the time by that positive energy, by positive people, because it's not easy. In anything we do in our life, whether you're doing business, whether you're doing finance, whether you're doing creative, whether you're doing, the market is down, the market is high, the business is low, there's a pandemic. It's about people and energy that you can derive from them that keep you going. We're social people. We need people in everything that we do. Just like your club, you have to help each other, and y'all do. Look at what Zankana just said. I mean, it's just amazing. Just to hearing that, I was like, wow, look at this. It's a small club. And if they can make an impact, everybody in this world can make an impact. And can you imagine the whole of India, if thought like that, it would make this place a better place. So with that, I'd like to ask, open it up to the audience to whatever questions they have or they feel, whether it's for them or whether it's for their children, whether it's sport related, whether it's life in general. I can't say I know it all, but I will tell you only through my experiences of how it worked for me, because that's what it's all about, So it may not work for you, but at least it's my view of what actually, it's not actually my view, it's actually what actually worked. you know. And I tell that to every people, because you get all kinds of things happen in my life. I changed country. I lived in a different place. It was lonely. You know, you're trying to reach this path where nobody else has reached. You're so far away from family. It's not easy, but nothing in life is easy. So you have to still go for it. You only live once. And I hand you over to Zankana. She can, if anybody puts their hand up, they can ask their question.
I have one question. So I'll start. Imtiaz, what I'd like to know is, what was your training regime for entering the Olympics from the time you thought, okay, I'm in Australia, I'm going to now train, and how was it like? What did you have to just ride, or did you do any exercising and stuff as well?
Yeah, that's, it's important to know. It's a regime I always believe, let me put a little bit of a twist to it. It's more a lifestyle. And this is what I tell kids. Don't do anything which is just for the lesson. Don't do anything which is just for the sport. It's got to be a way of life. That's the way it is. You got to be a disciplined person. Even till today, I'm over 50. And even till today, I'm up at 5:30. I'm out at my riding place at 6. My students come in at 6:05. I'm always before them, because that's what I believe in, that you have to be, as a teacher, set the example. You got to lead in that role. So that is very important. So when you look at the regime of training, it was, you get up in the morning. I did my own horse work first, because there's a lot of stable work involved as well. Management, looking after the horses. You got to look at their fitness, their nutrition. Then you got to look after your fitness and nutrition. I did a lot of swimming. I did a lot of cycling, because you have to keep cardiovascularly fit. And what is another thing which is important? You got to keep yourself mentally fit, because that can really get you down, because you're going to have lows, you're going to get highs, you're going to have bad days, low days. So you got to find out what is the thing that helps you when you're in those lows, because everybody is going to have them. I can assure you that. Now, I can tell you this. Some people it's gardening. Some people it's cooking. So if somebody tells me to garden, I'll tell them I'm crazy. That irritates me more than anything else. Or somebody tells me cooking, I hate it. It's not something I do. To me, it was like going and playing a game of squash. I could hit the ball as hard as I can. I had a strong workout. Took me only 30 minutes, and all my stresses got away. So everybody's got their own thing. Some people it's going for a massage. Some people just like to do manicure, pedicure. Some people want to go for a walk. But it's important to do that, and you got to know when to do it. So that was really important in that regime. Throughout this training program, you had to make that break. It's not only about just push, because you will break. So you got to keep that balance. So a lot of fitness, a lot of nutrition, but the key thing is discipline.
That's really very well said, that yes, discipline is something that should be a part of any person's life, because that's where it really takes you somewhere to what you have set as a goal, and somewhere you really want to.
To the kids today, I tell them, if they think talent is going to get them anywhere, there's too many people talented. Everybody's talented out there when you go out in the world. If you don't put hard work and discipline to the talent has no meaning. It has no use, because what difference if you're talented if you can't get up in the morning? What difference if you're talented if you come late every time? Preparation. And it doesn't work with sport. It works with everything. Just look at a young intern. When he joins a company, he's always 10 minutes early. He's got the right files. He's at the meeting. He's got the minutes. He's going to go somewhere in his life. Well, somebody's scrambling, correcting the papers. Oh, my paper bhul gaya. The paper's back home because he didn't plan the night before. His clothes were not out the night before. They were not hung ready. Books were ready. Everything what school is taking. That's why we go to these schools where the structure is there to teach these kids. I'm a very old school in that way. I think it's important. Uniform, going to school on time, being properly dressed. These things hold us good in life. I tell my students at my school right now, the first thing I tell them, make your bed. Let's start with that. Because if you haven't made your bed, you cannot come and ride. Discipline. Look, respect your horse, respect yourself. Today, the kids don't respect themselves. They're so casual, shirt is out, tucked in. No, it doesn't work like that.
Yes, very well said. Yes, that's always.
So do you actually have conversations with your horse?
All the time. All the time. I talk to them.
And does the horse respond in your kind of a positive manner?
Yes, it's quite interesting you say that. So a horse and rider relationship is not like a dog.
I'd like my daughter to listen to this, because my daughter rides as well. So she's on it. She's sitting in it. So Sumera, please listen.
So, it's not like a dog where you come home and they wag their tail and they jump on you and you go, horses, if they jump on you, will crush you, It's that relationship that you have with your best friend, that you can be in a room and you don't have to talk to each other, but it means everything. You have that special, or you can go for a long drive with your best friend. You don't have to talk all the time. Now, some people do talk, but it's okay. That being with somebody that is so close and having that silence. So that's the thing, the relationship, because they don't talk back. But every evening I go and I walk through my stables. I spend time, I watch the horses, and they always come up, and if I could talk to them or just looking into them, I know there's been some connection, and that's what it's all about. And I tell my students all the time, it's spending time with that, in whatever you do in life, spend time. Everything is rush. Everything is quick. Everything they want yesterday. What I always believe in today's day and age, now again, I'm coming back to, because you might think I'm really old fashioned, but it's like, when I was in boarding school, we had to write a letter. It took 3 days for the letter to reach home. Then my mom and dad would write the letter, 3 days for the letter to come back. Now you send a WhatsApp, you're looking at the phone, you're not even press send, and you're already looking for the reply. It's instant. You want it now. Or if they haven't replied, what's happened? Are they upset with me? No, just take a few steps back, relax, enjoy the journey, because not everybody's going to go to the Olympics. Not everybody's going to win. Not everybody's going to be the number one in their jobs, but it's a journey that you go through. It's the people that you touch, the people that have touched you, the achievements that you made. They could be small. It's not about this, in America, I've lived in America for 25 years, and it's all about this win, lose. We got to be better. We got to be faster. We got to be stronger. That's not what life is about. It's about you within, and India was like that. The West is becoming more East, the East is becoming more West. Even with medication, in the equine world, we are not allowed to give any medication. When I was competing internationally, all we did was homeopathy. Anytime the horses got injured, even till today, when I run my own stable and have all these kids come in, they're so used to all these injections and all these medications. I'm like, no, let's use ice, salt water, Miltani mitti, arnica, calendula, all natural. Keep it natural, so that's what life should be. When you go for like how we have a joke, in Australia, like when you go there, they have a cuppa. It's a proper cup of tea. In America, it's a tea bag, quick, fast. Nobody has time to even make a cup of tea these days. It's instant. Coffee is instant. Nobody wants to brew the coffee, sit down, have a conversation, talk. That is quality. That is life.
So yes, you really are saying what most of us want to do, but sometimes we just feel, where is the time? But you are so true about it, that you have to find time if you really want to see that inner peace taking over, and you really having that, the meaning of being and the meaning of to live, why you must be living, not only running around and just going behind things one after the other, but setting a goal and slowly and gradually pacing yourself towards it. So wonderfully said. So there are a couple of questions that I would like you to just answer out here, and I would like our members to hear what you would have a take on these. So I'll just start with, you've been an Olympian, and I am sure you just spoke about the discipline factor and everything. But do you think faith, or to achieve your dreams, there's something known as luck and not hard work? Do you think hard work is?
Yes.
Does it matter?
Always.
How exactly?
I'll be honest. You need a little luck. There's no two ways about it. In life, everybody, all of us need that little bit of luck. In businesses, you do something and you didn't, but you still have to put the work ethic, And I tell that I keep saying it because I do a lot of talks to kids. They always see the end result. They see the Virat Kohli playing the cricket and they say, look at the sponsors he's got, look at the money he's got. They look at all the, I have kids, they come here, they're all looking at Jeff Bezos's net worth, he's the richest man in the world. I'm like, what about the hard work they put in? And the same with India. I'll give you an example, and it just gets to me a little bit. Like, we're looking at a 1 billion population. Only 125 people represented India at the last Tokyo Olympics. That is really small. It could be as small as your club. I mean, not even as small. I mean, even that is a really minute. Still, we are worried about the medal winners. The 7 people that won medals, and only those are being recognized. What about the others? They put the same hard work. Their families put the same hard work. They still sacrificed. They did what nobody else could do. This is where, as a community, we need to acknowledge everybody at school levels. Everybody just looks at, oh, who's won the first? Or the child, oh, my child stood first in mathematics. So what? And I hate to say this, but, even in our days, the first benchers are not the most successful people. It is true. The first, they're not. It's the second row and third row also as successful because they're the ones who got the doers. That's what you want. It's not those who always just get whatever, whatever 2 + 2 is 4. It doesn't work that way in life. Sometimes 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 is 4. Sometimes you can put half and 2 with combinations, so that's what life's about, So I always believe you have to have the work ethic. Work ethic, always important, It's got to be a part of you. And it's hard to instill that. I was really fortunate because I went to a boarding school that instilled into me for 7 years. Kids come to me for short time, and I try and instill it to them. We wake up every morning at 5:30, 6 o'clock, we're at the barn, breakfast is at 8. It's a proper breakfast. I had a girl yesterday came from Delhi, eating, oh, I don't eat egg and I don't eat this. I'm sorry, it doesn't work. I called her mother. I said, this is not the program. She has to eat. She needs energy. She needs proteins. She doesn't need egg. We've got to do a substitute. We have to, as a mentor, you have to get involved in all those things as well. You got to see the family. You got to see the girl, where she's coming from. What is this thing? All these young girls now, they all want to diet. They're all doing this intermittent fasting every 12 hours. It doesn't work in sport. I said, eat well and exercise. Even the afternoon, I make sure they sleep. I said from 2 to 4, all of you, I want you asleep, because you cannot last the day. Then you get cranky. You can't burn the candle on both ends. Choose, make your priorities. And when you can't, take the break. But you can't live life like that. No, I want to party at night, but I also want to ride, but I also want to be a millionaire, but I also want to own a Mercedes. It doesn't work like that in life. So it's about teaching them that they have to prioritize. And I believe that you still need all aspects, but keeping the balance.
So yes, luck is equally important. Discipline is equally important, and following rules and no, it's absolutely okay. I think we are getting the crux of where you are coming for. You're so passionate about this entire thing, and you really want to encompass the entire conversation. But we'll give you lots of time, because there are lots of questions that we would want you to address too.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I'm sure we have lots of time, and there are members also who have started to put their chats on the chat box. But I have a couple of them which I'm going to send them out to you, so that you could first, maybe then we could go to the chat box and check them up. So you said that dreams never change throughout your life, and you started at the age of 4, which is really, really young. You said you stood up and you always wore those medals and said that, yes, I was going to be for Team India. At 4, I did not even know what was the difference between an apple and an orange. And you had that dream in your head, and you knew, you were very certain that you wanted to do something for India. Where did that all come from? 4 is too young an age to even understand my country.
I have to be honest. I really don't know. It was not something that my parents instilled in me, nothing. But I was just, ever since I was a kid, I mean, that's all I dreamt of. I would, even when I was riding, either I was cantering myself thinking I was a horse, or I was a rider whipping myself on a horse, I put jumps in my house. I used to put all the pillows and I used to jump them. There was an obstacle course. It was the Olympic game. Every time I did anything, I always took it to the highest level. Even whatever I did, if I was even running in that little, spoon race with the lemon, you had that egg and spoon race or whatever. I thought I was at the starting box. I'll be sitting out there, I'll be looking left, looking right. Look at these Olympians. These are all people from different countries. All my classmates from Bombay International School. I was about 5 years old, but I dreamt like that. I used to tell stories, all fibs. My parents, half of them never knew whether I was telling the truth or not the truth, because my imagination used to just run absolutely crazy. That's why I could dream of actually doing something like this, because it's not possible. So I always tell kids, just dream. I never kill their dream. Whatever you want, think about it. So what? It's a dream.
To that, I'll just add, this is a dream year for Rotary. So it's called the dream year accordingly. So I think we are dreaming really big. And as you said, it's just 20 plus lakhs that we've completed. I hope there are many more zeros and many more beneficiaries that we can also touch through our good work. So yes, we will continue dreaming, just the way you said that dreaming is very important for your passion. Could you also talk about your role, about the mentors in your life, people who have really, come in your life at the right moment, at the right time to make a difference and make you have that turn in your life to see what really is a changing point? I'm sure you must have had some times wherein even you would have felt, maybe this isn't really the right thing for me. As you rightly said, that you wanted to run, you wanted to swim, you wanted to do this and that, and so many. We always are in a quandary of, there are so many options, and why not take them, in different directions if one is not working? So who are your mentors, and how exactly have they inspired you and taken your dream further?
I was only 11 years old, and there was an expat who was, how expats come and they're posted to India. And he was he worked for a French company, an Englishman. And his wife was one of the top riders in England. So she came with him and she didn't know anybody. And she met my mom at the local riding club and they became best of friends. I was at boarding school and I was 11 years old and I came back and my mom said, Diana, she's ridden at the highest level in England and she's out here. So you can take some riding lessons from her. And I started riding with her and I just looked up. And you know what was amazing, Zankana, that from 11, this is the most amazing part of my whole book. From 11 to 30, she trained me. So for 20 years, I had the same coach and there was no exchange of money at all. She just loved India. She loved what my family did for her. And she till today said, it was your passion. Even at that age, when I was 11 years old, I was running. I was driven. I never missed a training. I never was late. She would come and we would have riding at 6 o'clock before I went to school or before we did anything. And I was 10 to 6, I was ready and always the right gear and showing up on time and just took it. So she loved that passion as well. So I was very fortunate. And I was lucky that at such a young age, I had a mentor, somebody I could look up to, because she was so well-read. She was extremely well-traveled. Her husband was extremely accomplished businessman. He worked for one of the top French companies in the world. So, I would hear his conversation. And even at that age, I would be just sitting up and say, when I grow up, I want to be like Diana. When I grow up, I want to become like Diana, So I was very lucky. And as my years went on, I had many such people that came into my life. I had a very nice, I was representing India in the junior category and we went to Australia and we drew a hat. Now just look at this luck. We were 3 riders. Everybody draws a horse and that's the horse you get to ride. And the family that I got wasn't, the gentleman had been to the Olympic Games in 1960 in sailing. And I was only a kid and he just kept in touch with me and mentored me right to the Olympics. So if I was somebody else who picked up the wrong, that's where the luck comes in. I could have picked up the other horse where he wasn't an Olympian, but I picked up the horse that was owned by this gentleman called Tony. And he was such a wonderful person. And he used to give me so much knowledge. He used to always tell me life is not comfortable. So it's about being comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. That's what the winning and losing makes a difference, So he said, everything in life is, so he said, even in life, whatever you feel, put yourself in these uncomfortable situations and try and make yourself as comfortable so that's what makes you better and better as a competitor. So small things like that, which even till today stick in my mind. Then as it goes later, I was at one stage in Australia and I was about to fall. I bought a horse, he broke his leg. I mean, I've had many failures. Actually, that's why I would like you to read my book because it had more failures than successes. So one of my main horses I was ready for the Olympic Games, injured himself and broke his leg and I was shattered. And I thought, coming from India, this is a sign, this is not meant for me. I've done my best. I need to just quit. And I just sat down and I literally broke down. I was crying and crying. And at that moment, this lady who was a senator, her husband was a senator, one of the most senior senators of Australia. And his wife was on the board of the college that I went to, just happened to call me just out of the blue and said, hey, MJ, how are you doing? And I was crying. So I said, oh, well, this happened. She said, oh my God, I can't let this happen. I'm going to come. You're going to come and stay with me. And we're going to make this dream happen. And I lived with this family for 3 years. This is a senior senator. They're Australian family, their kids. And from day one, they treated me like their family. I got in there. The next day, I was not a guest. I was given chores. You take Sarah to ballet. You take the kids to school. Morning, I had to do this. I had to do that. I rode. And she organized my life for me. I didn't have to do anything. I just became part of her family. So, people like this just kept coming into my life at all different stages. And if you read through the book, it's crazy the amount of people that have come. I mean, just unlimited. I mean, it just goes on. I remembered everyone because each one of them was so important to me. I'll never forget it. It's important because even since I was a kid, I used to write those names down of all the people that helped me in my life because it's so important.
Completely agree and can relate. It is so important that every small element that makes you go towards your dreams being achieved, that link, that chain is the most important mentor, you call it, or a clue, a lead, a person who has been instrumental. So yes, mentors are very, very important. And they form to what our dreams are and make us go towards, driven towards, achieving them. So yes, mentors are important. And I think the mentors that have come in your life have been very, very important. I'm sure when we read the book, we will know much about them. Furthermore, I would like to ask you about, you've been speaking about the book and I just said that we definitely would like to. What really inspired you to write this book? And this being one of your first, do you think you're going to be writing many more, or was this just for one passion that you wanted to put in? Or is this always been a dream again that you want to write and you want to narrate your story?
No, I think, it was, the main thing I really realized, it was time to give back. It was time to come back, even to come back to India. I lived in Australia for, 10 years. I lived in the US for 25 years. I've been out of the country for, 35, 40 years. It's a long time, 30 years I've been out of the country. So when I came back to India, I realized that, there's so many I can do out here. There's so much I can do. I could have gone back again. But I realized that there are a lot of youngsters like me who have the same dream, who have the same passion. And if I can be a part of it, if I can be their Diana, if I can be them in their lives, that would be my next goal. So one of the reasons I thought the steps towards that would be to write my story, because I thought it would reach to a wider audience. For me to talk like this, it's limited. So I thought, again, big vision, to think that if I write this book, it's a very easy read. It's not complicated. The best part is parents have written it, seniors have, and an 8-year-old kid can read it. It's that easy. So it's not a long book. It's a bit, and I also really was very particular with HarperCollins on the price, because I was not about making money or anything. It was about actually getting the book out to as many people in schools to tell them that a dream is possible. You can do it if you push yourself. So that's the real reason I wrote the book.
Yes. So as you rightly mentioned that, yes, the book is so well priced. Actually, today, a book of this quality and, with this publication, and you're just charging 300 rupees. I would like my members to know over here once again that we've also told you that, it would be wonderful, as Mr. Anees has said, that he would really sign the copy if you would like to buy it. We've put up an appeal to you also. Anybody who would like to buy it, please do approach us, and we could really get a signed copy from Mr. Anees for you. In the book, I would like to just mention over here, and as you have stated, there's a lot you've spoken about failure and about how it is today, talking about failures, a lot of people just give up and they go into depression, and they kind of go into a mental state, which is something that, is something where you need psychologists, therapists coming into picture. Do you think a sports psychology is an important part of any sports that are played, and whether it should become a part of any sports that should also be played, and how do you handle failures? Both. Could you answer both these questions together?
I think there are two different ways to look at it. I think sports psychology should be more not for failure. Sports psychology is for when you're on your game. This is where we make a mistake in India. When you're at your best, people think we don't need anything. We don't need people. We don't need anything. I'm already number one. You look at the top of the top, because you only stay one, is very easy to fall down to number two very quickly, because you're not there for that long. So in order to maintain that, that's where you need the sports psychology to play with your game. You play with your mind, that even though you're at that level, to maintain it. When it comes to failures and successes, I don't think sports psychology as much as I think it's important where that balance is coming. Family, friends, your go-to in what you like to do. These are important things. You need that support at all times. We cannot do this on our own. There are many times I was so low, and it's the family that was there that sometimes didn't have to tell you anything. They didn't have to tell you, you shouldn't have done this. This was not for you. This is too difficult. Why did you try this? No. They were not like, they were just there to support. They didn't, no negativity. There was never a mention in my failure. They would always say, oh, why? Oh, you shouldn't have done it like that. You should have done it like this. No, they said, it's happened. There's nothing, we can't do anything about it. Let's look at the future. What are our options? Let's choose from the options to move forward. That's the most important thing. So, and friends, I had great friends. If you look at my book, it'll tell you right from boarding school, in college, everywhere, who would always support me. I mean, I had lots of friends who would say, no, we'll do it for you. If I couldn't do something, I was traveling around in Delhi, Bombay, all the when I was competing nationally, I was still sitting in college, and my friends would be doing my attendance or collecting my office exam papers, and then they would message me. Those days we should have the fax. They should fax it to me where I was. So they didn't have to do that. It was extra work for them, but they saw my passion, and they knew that I was not fooling around and just having a good time and partying and enjoying life. I was driven, so they wanted to be a part of it as well.
So yes, failure is a part of everyone's life. How you get out of it is the most important part. And well spoken about the sports psychology. I think it's a niche part which is coming up in our country also, which wasn't really looked at, but I believe it is coming to be one of the places which is important, that a psychologist is needed even in sports, and it is very important for people to have them.
The other thing it does, it also helps these kids with their nerves. Because when you get nervous, that's, they don't know how to handle that nerve. They don't know how to handle the pressure. That's what I'm saying. It's more in the positive field you need them, not in the negative field. Negative field, you need family, friends, and comfort zone.
So we did see that in the Olympics this time, right? Wherein a participant just could not. She was so broken down, and She had to quit it at one point of time. So I believe you need them to mentor you through and through, as good with your family and friends also at toe for the same. Furthermore, I would also want to know as to, you started your own school. You just said you have a riding school. If you could just speak about that and how inspiring for you it is sometimes when children come as driven as the passion that you have for the sport. Have you ever seen a spark today, the same kind of passion and the same kind of spark, or is it very unfiltered and they are all over the place and it is like you feel, oh, it doesn't exist?
You get a mixture. I've got this was my parents' place. It was about 3 hours from Mumbai, and it's a beautiful place. It's in a small fishing village. There's absolutely nothing out here. We are the only house on the beach. It's about 8 miles of beach. So we do all our riding, all our training on the beach, and then we take the horses in the water. We can swim them. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's horse heaven. We have a boutique stable. It's about 14 horses. We have a live-in place as well. So I have 2 apartments where boys and girls come from all over India. So they're coming from Delhi. I've got people from Orissa. I've got people from Chandigarh, all over the smaller tutor cities as well. They come, they base, and it's about learning. So it's not about, they don't pay for each riding lesson. It's a cost-effective way that they come in and they actually become a working student. So they actually become like an intern. So they get up in the morning, they look after the horses, they have their lessons, they ride, we do theory, they learn management, they learn how to feed a horse, they learn how to medicate a horse, they learn to spend time with those animals, to look after them. So it's all about, what I teach these kids is not about them. It's about something else. It's about giving back. It's about caring, because every other sport, once the sport is over, you put it in a kit bag and if you throw it away. While in a horse, you still have to look after it. So whether they have a good day, bad day, they fall off, they still have to look after that horse. So, but it's also a place where families come who've never sat on a horse. I've had mother-daughters come. I've had parents come with their kids. In fact, this weekend, I've got 2 girls coming with their father, and the father's never sat on a horse and he wants to take riding lessons. So, he wants to do something because he thinks it's a great family sport. So it's not only the national level and competitive level. I also want to just spread the word what the animal does for us. It's just such a magnificent animal that it can give us so much because, it is quite therapeutic as well. So it's a really beautiful place that we have. It's very peaceful. There's nothing here at all. So they can't really get into trouble. And so parents love to send their kids here. Even the Wi-Fi is just about enough for them to do school. So they get up in the morning at 6, they do their horses, they do their riding, they have breakfast, they do their schoolwork, and then they ride and do things again in the evening, So, and then in the evening, sometimes we play football on the beach, they go for a swim, whatever they like.
That's really interesting for those really driven for the passion that you're sharing. So I'm sure it wants to be a haven for them back on earth, wherein they can really do what you are passionate and they are passionate together.
And also parents who, like some of the parents have come who just want to give their child that opportunity because they're not sure, they have very limited opportunities like this in the city. So they can just come and we just do basic walk, trot, riding lessons. I mean, absolutely, they've never sat on a horse ever.
That's really interesting. That is. There is something that, you said that youngsters are constantly coming to you. And any youngster that has come to you and he's wanting to achieve a goal, but is a little bit, what would your advice be to youngsters as to how to go about with this? As you said, you have students coming and they set goals. How would you want a youngster who's just gotten into this field or is even dabbling into it? What advice would you give?
My first advice to them is it's a lot of work, okay? But anything in life is. So our first thing I test is their work ethic. And then I'll be honest with them because it's all about giving them and helping them in their paths, Like I had a boy just now from Pune who was a lovely boy, hardworking. He's done really well. So I'm now trying to help him to raise some money. He doesn't come from a very wealthy background, but loves horses. He's passionate to go overseas. Because that's where the opportunities are. He needs to get that exposure and needs to get the experience. And that's what I would like to do and be this place for those sort of people who have this passion is to set them up so that they can be ready to go overseas. They have enough knowledge and experience. In India, it's a category, depends upon your work, your society. The stalls are cleaned by the lower end. And then, as if you got money, you can pay for your riding lessons. Abroad, it doesn't work like that. You get jobs from what you know, not who you know, So all I want to do is improve their skills so they get better jobs when they go overseas. So when people are undecisive, I always say, give yourself time in anything you choose, get your experience, spend the time out here. Then you'll know whether is it in you or is it not? And there's some who it isn't. And that's fine. They do it as a hobby. They do it because they love horses. They do it as an exercise. And there's some who are actually driven to do it. And I can see a few in my whole time that I've been here. It's only been about 6 months since 8 months I've opened this place. I've gone through about 40 students in that short time already. I would say I've had 3 people who I'd say they've got it. And I told the parents straight away, I said, you know, they have the passion, they have the drive. We got to figure out a way to foster it, to push it, to maintain it. And that's where my role comes as a mentor then. You know, then my role comes is how with that family to see their background, to see their finances, to see their other commitments that they have, because all these things have to be taken into consideration when you're molding somebody. People forget that. You know, coaches don't know that. They're only looking at themselves. He's a gold medal winning. We must keep on working. No, but he may not have the time. He has to have a second job. He has family commitments. There are other kids in the family that, you know, also have to, you know, so you have to look at everything.
Yes, so I get it that it is important that there is a lot of factorization that comes into picture when you are looking at children, training them and giving them the guidance to go ahead and do what their passion really lies in over here. I would also like to know, and I'm sure most of the members would like to hear this, is you on the Olympics field, what is the feeling like? The adrenaline rush, the pulse, the racing pulse, what is the feeling like?
Crazy.
Like when we see that flag and the tricolor going and fluttering and everyone saying the national anthem, we get goosebumps. You all are on there. How do you deal?
I'm so nationalistic in that one thing. I don't know how it came into me, but every time that flag go, you still get goosebumps a little bit. You feel the tears come in. And you know, at my sport, just like Sahil had mentioned earlier, I was the only one. So when I got into the arena and you see the Indian flag, you know it's flying because of you. There's nobody else there. So at the same time, you got to do justice to it. There's respect, you know, and that even now while talking about, I'm getting the chills, you know, because you know that flag is flying for you. So how big a moment can that matter? Whether you win or lose, who cares? You know, you arrived, you've done what you had to do. They've hoisted that flag because you are the Indian representative. You are there representing your country. So it's a very, very special feeling. It's a huge, not like a burden, but you know, there's so many years of work that you put into. So when you're actually there, you're like, I'm here, I'm done it. Now you got to enjoy every moment of it as well, you know? And that's what one of my mentors told me. He said, you know, just enjoy this moment. It's not going to come back. It's a very special moment. So it's about enjoying every moment of it, you know? It's very special, very, very special. So if anybody's, you know, it's a dream for every sportsman and not everybody can reach it, but it's what we dream for.
So yeah, what you previously said does make sense. We always glorify those who come back with medals. But it is so important that the journey that has gone by has been taking so many years of discipline, hard work, passion to have been putting it over there. So it's not really important. Yes, it is important to come back with medals, but it is also important to justify the hard work that you all have put and to give you a similar kind of appreciation for what you all have worked so hard towards. So I completely agree with that part of yours that yes, everyone should at least, yes, you want to drive to the winning, you know, spot and get that medal for yourself. But yes, even trying that is equally a great work to have done for the country. You've spoken a lot about how you had encouraging parents and you had supporting, you know, mentors, and your dreams and passion was well taken care of. Youngsters today are skeptical and, you know, which sport, again, I'm repeating this question again, as to which sport to take up and which sport not to take up and how to go about the whole thing. You just mentioned that you've been coaching them. Now, say, for example, somebody is coached and suddenly they fall down and they lose their nerve. Any kind of advice for them that, you know, there is time to get up and go on with this entire thing? How would you advise them if they do not have, you know, a psychologist or family or friends who are constantly motivating? How should they get up?
So, you know, it's hard without that. We all need a support team. So it's very hard to take away the main crux of everything. Nobody's really alone. You know, in today's
but somebody is passionate, but probably they don't have the backing. Then what?
That's it. That's a different story. You say they don't have the backing. But it's to find that, you know, it's to find the people that will still support you do it. You know, if they don't have the finance or they don't have the, and if they fall on, it's always give yourself time. It's sometimes all right to take 2 or 3 steps back. In my whole book, I took many steps back. But I always tell people, this is something I'm trying to explain here. If you climb high, you fall down like this. But if you climb vertically, you only fall that immediate ladder. So sometimes it's okay to even go away from your goal as long as you're climbing. You know, so that's what I tell my kids. It's okay. Give yourself time. These things don't happen overnight. You know, some people are fortunate. They have the finance, they have the money, they have the writing, they have everything there, and it works. Great. But that's not the rest of the world. The rest have to have worked very hard to get it. So it's about just taking each day as it comes, improving every day. As one of my mentors told me, you know, with my writing, he used to tell me, he said, if you get one step every day correct, you'll have 365 steps at the end of the year, which will be more than enough steps that you need. So when you look at this, you're like, wow, one step, that's all. He said, just perfect one step. Don't do two.
I believe from your talk that you've never had that scared feeling, that feeling of, oh, this is really a worrisome place, or this is something that you know how we have that scared feeling inside before something you're about to do. Did you ever experience any of those kind of taking such a journey? When you went through this entire journey, did you ever have that?
No, I didn't. And I think when I look back, people have asked me this question before, and I always wonder why. And the thing what I would say, the only thing that really connects the dots would be when I went to boarding school. You know, I was only 11 years old. I was a very young, timid boy from Bombay, and going all the way to a boarding school, which was very strict, very regimental, a lot of ragging, a lot of bullying. And it really threw me in the deep end. So it really put me in the worst situation ever at one time. I cried really every single day of my life. I tried to get away from it. I tried to run away. I tried to I did everything possible. Stayed in the hospital half the time because I used to fake illnesses because I hated it so much and I missed home so much. But I kept my parents still, you know, they would be crying here, I would be crying there. But
you got your grandparents involved as well.
Exactly. I got my grandparents involved. My grandparents came to visit me because I would write the letters to them, how terrible. But it made me who I am today. So I think when you look at it this way, I never, like, you know, when I went to, even to Australia, and I went to a college, like an agricultural college to teach equine and horse management. I was the only Indian in the whole college. I was the only Asian in the whole college. Okay. It was an absolutely ag college for Australian farmers. And here's one Asian. I was never even scared. I just knew I could hold my own anywhere. You know, it's who you are. I was confident in that. And I said, what worst thing? I've already been to Sanaa. I mean, I was 11 when I was bullied and ragged and I had to fight and, you know, fend for myself and defend. I never felt any situation. If there was an opportunity, I took it. Like I was asked by the Sheikh of Oman to come and ride for him. I was young. I was only 16 years old. I just packed my bags and went, you know, and trained there. So things like that. I never missed opportunities. Didn't work out, came back. Liked it, stayed on.
So did what you wanted, achieved what you wanted, and never really looked back because you really just kept yourself moving ahead. So yes, that's fantastic. I think that kind of a positivity is most important when you are really driven to do something. Only that keeps you going, I believe. And I think that also came to you because at a very young age, you had, you know, family that was supportive, your mentors that were supportive, and you yourself had the feeling of, yes, I want to achieve it. And yes, I want to do it.
Right.
So I would just have one parting note from you. If you had 1 minute to give to our members with a message that you had to give, what would it be? Because I see a lot of positivity and an aura of, you know, this niceness in you and wanting to achieve things. So I'm sure you have something to share to our members.
I second that.
About the sport that you are so passionate about. And I have seen the movie Secretariat, and I know how the lady was so very passionate with the horse, and she could literally hear the horse. And I mean, I hardly get teared up. And that was one movie that made me feel, oh my God, how passionate can you get? So your parting note about 1 minute, about good, you know, anything nice, 1 minute to you about positivity.
First, you had this whole conversation with me. You know, I can't put anything in 1 minute. But anyway, I will do my best.
Take your time. Take your time. We have the time. Please go ahead.
To me would be to tell all the people on the platform today is that they have to get out of their comfort zones and follow their passion, whatever it is. And age is no bar. You could be 10, you could be 60, you could be 75. If you have something in you burning, do it now. It is so important because life is short, and don't worry about failure. Don't worry about the restriction. Don't worry what other people are going to say. You got to do it and do it for yourself, because that's what life is all about, you know? And I really believe that whatever it is, it doesn't have to be changing the world. It could be just one thing, one step. But if everybody does that, we'll make everybody a happier place. Make the world a happier place.
So very, very, very well said. So do what you want, achieve what you want, and just go for it with the full passion and the positivity that you are also sharing. And I'm sure at the school, your training school, you are definitely imparting the same kind of knowledge to all those children who are coming to you and looking out for the similar kind of passion that you are sharing. So thank you very much for the wonderful session that we had with you, and you sharing lots and lots of lovely talks about your journey. I would now request Zamir to please give the vote of thanks, please. Zamir, thank you very much also for introducing the speaker
You're welcome.
today.
You're welcome.
Thank you so
I have
very
been
much.
in. Okay, so I do not know where to start because Imtiaz has so much of positive energy in him. You know, I think he's just spread that energy to all of us who've been here and listening to him. And thank you very much for doing that. But I'd like to say a couple of things. Number one, I've always been in awe of Imtiaz. I've seen him at his best at the local Gymkhana races, just flying past you. Probably on, the local Gymkhana races take place in the month of May. And I've seen Imtiaz just, get out of his zone and just zoom past and leaving behind, the rest of the pack. And we are sitting near in our, where the people watch the races, and we are watching these guys. At that time Gymkhana races are for children. So kids of all ages are allowed to go in and watch. And that was a fun thing to watch. And thank you very much, Imtiaz, for those days in the 80s. Mm-hmm. Thanks a lot. And okay. And also I'd like to say that Imtiaz's book is fantastic. I mean, I have read it, and it's not technical at all. So if anyone wants to read it, please read it, especially for people who don't know anything about horses and don't know anything about horse riding. It's a great place, great way to start. You'll know Imtiaz's journey, and you'll know a little simple things about horse riding and stuff. And the last thing I'd like to say is make a trip to see horse. Everyone needs to go there at some point of time. It's a beautiful place. I haven't gone there. Sumaira and myself want to go there. We'll plan on going there. We keep planning, but something or the other comes up. Either I'm busy or Imtiaz has got somebody else there. So we'll plan it and we'll go. But I recommend everybody going there and, spending some time with Imtiaz. And, he's a fantastic teacher. So you'll learn a lot from him. So Imtiaz, thanks a lot for doing this for all of us.
Really appreciate
it. Thank you very much from the entire club. Thank you. Yeah. Jankana. I think, and I also want to say, Jankana, you said a lot. So I didn't think I had to give the vote of thanks. You would have done a better job. But thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Zamir, once again. And thank you once again, Mr. Nees. I would now request Pooja to please make the secretarial announcement.
Hi, good evening, everyone. And what an interesting and inspiring session, Imtiaz. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to announce that there were more than 60 logins at one time today, including members and spouse. And as always, I will definitely say a few lines. And today lines are from Harivansh Rai Bachchanji's poem, and they sound very apt to me for the occasion. Here it goes. नन्ही चीटी जब दाना लेकर चलती है, चढ़ती दीवार पर 100 बार फिसलती है। मन का विश्वास रगों में साहस भरता है, चढ़कर गिरना गिरकर चढ़ना ना अखरता है। आखिर उसकी मेहनत बेकार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की हार नहीं होती। Thank you so much.
Oh, so apt. Thank you.
And also I take this opportunity on the behalf of the club to wish all the members of the club who have their birthdays and anniversaries in the month of September. I wish them best of luck and best wishes, and especially to Neeta, who has her birthday today. And once again, I appeal to all of you to please come forward and contribute to a Sunshine Fund, which is being used for Annapurnas. And as you all know, that we are all gearing up for the upcoming fellowship on 26th of September. Everyone, including all the members and of course the admin team, is putting in big efforts for it. So see you all there, and thank you so much. And over to you, Jankana.
Thank you so very much, Pooja. As always, fantastically summed up the entire evening for us. The meeting is formally adjourned for the evening.
Thank you once again, Imtiaz. Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Thank you, Zinc.
Thank you, members.